Hey everybody, and welcome back to Film Freaks Television. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and I'm not here with Paul. And there's a really good reason for that. He absolutely hates this movie. He hates this movie. He hates Gone with the Wind. He hates anything of that time that was sort of that Hollywood, type thing or whatever. He hates musicals anyway, so
Uh,
that would explain a lot of this. But I told him I was gonna do this Anna, and he had no problem with that. He had
nice.
no problem being invited to this to this one. But I'm Jonathan Moody, your co-host, and I'm here with Anna Xaden. How you doing, Anna?
Hello. Good. How are you?
Good. So Anna's been a big part of a bunch of different projects that we've done. Quick Review Thursday. She's now my like co-host for To Be Tuesdays on was it horror film lovers, YouTube. She's just everywhere and for Indie Film Cafe stuff, like all our network. And so we just really appreciate having you on here to do this one for Film Freaks since it's your first. So welcome.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, for sure. So I asked Anna not knowing if she even liked this movie, and turns out this is one of your favorites?
One of my favorites from childhood. I
Yeah,
even had the book. So it's like if I couldn't watch the movie, I'd take the book with me and read it.
really. Yeah,
Yeah,
just to be back in that magical Oz.
exactly. Kind of transported you into that. So I was the kid walking around the playground, like reading the book. And then I'd get home and we had the VHS, so I'd pop that in.
I'm surprised like they haven't done like another. I mean, they did the Great and Powerful Oz, I believe that like James Franco was in and Sam Raimi directed, but it wasn't like it it wasn't the hit I guess people were expecting it to be, and it didn't look like Oz to me, honestly. And I
Mhm.
love Sam Raimi, so don't get me wrong, like most
Mhm.
things I love of his. It's just for some reason that just wasn't, and I don't know if that was a lot of studio interference or whatever. This
Uh-huh.
movie would have been completely different. I was watching some behind the scenes stuff of like how it got developed, and there were some crazy ideas for it that would have been just different than the movie. It took four writers to like basically change it to where it is right now and everything.
Uh-huh.
So to me that's I mean, and it's so funny because Paul will even tell me all the time, if there's like four writers in a Hollywood movie or more, the movie's been in trouble. And yes, but generally the fourth writer, fifth writer, or whatever, the last writer generally gets it out of trouble, sort of thing. So,
Mhm.
um, anywho, so you watched this when you were a kid, right?
Yep. And I did
So
a refresher on it the other day.
you what?
Did a refresher on it,
Oh,
watched it again. Yeah.
again,
Well,
like, cause
I watched clips.
okay,
Yeah, because I
I
couldn't
had
find
uh,
the
I had watched the whole thing again, but that was like so, ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, Anna and I had planned to do this, I think like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it just like things just kept popping up, and we were just like, let's just push it to this day, push it to that day. And it's fine because like literally it's coming out in a week, from this
Yeah.
our recording. So like that was fine, but I was like, we gotta get this going and make sure that we get this done. So um
Yes.
but I watched it when I was originally. I did not do it like a refresher, really. It's pretty fresh on my mind. Like I can remember the things I had I thought about or whatever while I was
Yeah.
watching it. I remember watching it as a kid, and I don't know if I was really into musicals then, but for some reason this movie and like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and a couple other like Hollywood musicals were okay, a Little Shop of Horrors, like things like that were okay with me as a kid, or
Yeah.
whatever. But this movie, especially I think what drew me into it, and I usually hate the idea of like it's all just a dream, which
Yeah.
is I think this might have been one of the first movies to ever do that, like where the girl wakes up and then she's like, I mean, you see it all the time, all like parodies of this where like, oh, I just had a dream and you were there and you were there and you were, yeah, oh my goodness. So it's interesting to think about that. That I think this might have been one of the first ones to like have him wake up and say, it was all just a dream. Like she wasn't really, but was she really there?
Well, see, that's that's the thing. She thought she was there. Maybe she did kind of astral project. You never know.
Maybe I mean, I guess she couldn't really be there because like everybody was watching her like, she was knocked out, right?
Mhm.
I don't know if she was in a coma or not, but she was in a
No, she got hit by the window
right,
sill. That like the shutters came and hit her in the head. Then she laid down and went to sleep.
right. So I think it was
Yeah,
just sleep. It wasn't like a coma or anything.
yeah.
It was not
Like
bad. It
on
was
that
just
part when she woke up and they showed, hey, she's waking up. I really do think that she thought she was there, but then she realized it was a dream.
it was a dream.
Yep.
But does that mean, I mean, so now here's the thing, like a lot of people think that like dreams are like just another universe that we can see,
Mhm.
or whatever
Yeah.
into. And so maybe it is just another, maybe Oz is another universe, and she got to see that like, because the way that the thing hit her hard, and everything kind of knocked her into like the other universe. So
Yeah.
I don't know. You can say that a lot about a lot of stuff, but I mean, all in all, it was so. All right, let's I guess let's take it back and kind of go through the whole story, because
Okay.
even though people, I guarantee you, anybody who's watching this has probably already seen this movie, so they know
Yeah,
the whole
probably
story.
so.
But I absolutely loved it. I loved
Yeah.
rewatching it too. It still holds up, which a movie in 1939 that still holds up like this, is that's pretty remarkable, in
Oh
my
yeah.
opinion. So the
Yep.
beginning of the movie, you get to see Dorothy, and poor Dorothy, her dog was causing problems to one of the like neighbor ladies who's kind of a bitch, she's a bitch with a W, you know. She later becomes you see it's kind of funny. She's a bitch and then she becomes a witch, right? So this lady Dorothy, played by Judy Garland, is going to the is getting her dog Toto and everything. And then Margaret Hamilton, who I think I remember hearing like she wasn't the original person they cast as the witch. They had somebody else
Ah.
in mind. But then they decided to go like the ugly route and make Margaret Hamilton ugly. And so,
Mhm.
well, I mean, the witch ugly. And whoever it was that they had cast had said, no, like I don't want to do that. You know,
Oh well, they didn't want to be transformed.
yeah, into an ugly character. Now you have
Wow.
to remember, like 1930s, people were so worried about their image. If you
Yeah,
think
true.
about it, it's
Yeah.
more so. I mean, today people are still, but people like today people have so much fun going into makeup and
Mhm.
becoming something completely different than who they are. Like there's a movie that I have called Filthy McNasty, and well, no, even that, there's the other one I would say, Heather and Pugly. Was it Debbie Rashawn, who's a big scream queen and everything.
Uh,
She loves to to become like unattractive, because she always plays like this sexy woman
yeah.
and everything. And that kind of gets tiring after a while, because you're sort of just typecast into this kind of boring role. Whereas like somebody who's ugly, well, that's kind of a harsh word, but
Yeah.
not attractive and not, and sort of, whatever, like they love that because then they can just be someone different than the person that they're sort of normally play.
Yeah.
So I think Margaret Hamilton loved that, she was just like, I'm down. Turn me into this like wicked witch.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, she's just this normal lady who's all upset at and I get it. The dog's sort of terrorizing her, thing, and she gets like a court order to have the dog taken to the sheriff, and the sheriff, I guess, will decide what to do. And I guarantee you, had that all just played out, and everything, the
Hmm.
sheriff's station would have just said, why are you bringing us this thing? Like, come on. Like, let the dog, this little teeny tiny cute little dog, come on. It's Toto. Like, let
Yeah.
him come back to whatever. So I think that was the thing. But
Yeah.
so when oh my goodness. Sorry. 1 second. My thing broke. So
Oh no.
I think I showed you it before that it broke. So I think you are already aware that my
Yeah. I didn't
uh
know if you glued it back or what.
I didn't no, I'm not gluing it or
Uh,
I would have taped it and that would have looked
yeah.
so terrible. I'm just like, screw it. It's
It'd be like me the time I had to tape my glasses right here and go to work like that.
oh my goodness. When people tape their glasses together, it looks awful. You get
Oh
like this
yeah.
nerdy like looks, and then like people
Yeah.
think you're, oh my God, you're such a nerd. And I'm
You want to
like,
know what's worse about it? The tape was orange.
so it really
Like
stood out,
day
didn't it?
glow orange. Everybody was like rocking the nerd style. I said, yeah, okay.
Sure, why not? Bringing
Yep.
it back. Nerds are in today. I don't
Oh
know.
yeah.
When we were in high school, man, nerds were not cool. Like
No.
nerds were
Well,
like you got beat up if you were a nerd and
yeah.
shit.
I was
Which
a nerd.
I got beat up in middle school a lot because of it. And then high
Wow.
school, I only got into like one little altercation with somebody over that shit because the
Mhm.
people were the guy was a douche. But aside from that, yeah, I never got into another, thing. But that's not about Wizard of Oz. We'll
Yeah.
bring it back to Wizard of Oz. So as far as like, so after what is it? After she kind of takes Toto decides to run away. And
Yeah.
before then, even before then, we get to meet Anna Yam and Uncle Henry and all the people that work, for they had some weird ass names, I believe, like names like you don't normally hear for characters. A hunk, like
Hung?
yeah, Hunk was the
I didn't
scarecrow.
catch that one. Oh.
Zeke was the cowardly lion, and Hickory was the Tin Man. So those are the names of those workers at the ranch. And for the longest time as a kid, I never put two and two together. Even though she said, "You were there, you were there, you were there." I think a lot of times I skipped, like I would fast forward some of the what I thought was like the boring parts, which was like the setup for the characters and everything. So I don't know.
Oh.
I would like, come on, let's get to Oz. It's like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And so I would skip that. I'd even skip the old man, the psychic guy,
Oh.
because I just found that stuff to be boring as a kid. I was like, let's get to the color, let's get to the, Oz.
Yeah.
I want to see some munchkins.
I love the Munchkins.
Were the munchkins named before or after the little donut?
I don't know. Oh, the Dunkin' Donuts donuts?
Yeah, I guess
Oh
after,
my
right?
gosh.
Must be
After.
after.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or what? I mean, like, I know, I think like what
The
is it?
donuts came after,
The
I think.
donuts came after,
Because
yeah.
when I was a kid, they were called donut holes. And then
Oh.
went to a Dunkin' Donuts. I was like, "You got donut holes?" And they looked at me. They said, "We've got Munchkins." I was like,
Oh, it's the same thing, huh?
"Yep."
So
But
now they're
yeah, the
Munchkins. Yeah, maybe they
Munchkins
were
were my
named after the
favorite.
Munchkins in this. I don't know, but that's kind of weird, you
Yeah.
know. Um, so anyway, before we get to the Munchkins, the she meets all those people, or she sees all those people. We get to see them, and she
Hmm.
wants to run away because she's afraid that if because Toto's come back, and if the lady's gonna come back and steal her again or whatever, steal him again.
Hmm.
So I gotta run away and take Toto away. Nobody's gonna do anything for Toto. So she leaves and she meets up with the magician guy who's I guess a fortune teller sort of person. I don't know. Sort of didn't know what the freak he was doing, which kind of makes me laugh now that like he becomes like the wizard because
Yeah.
like it makes sense for his character. He sort of didn't know what he was doing. He even talks about that, but you know, so anyway, he says, he's looking in his crystal ball and says that there's somebody who's waiting for him. And he's kind of making this shit up, I think.
Yeah.
And weirdly enough, he sort of predicted that the storm was coming, and
Mhm.
everything and whatnot. So maybe he knew about the storm, like the storm was
Yeah.
approaching.
Well, I
Uh,
think the storm was approaching when she met up with
right.
them. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, he was a con artist.
He was, but he also was a nice, gentle guy because
Yeah.
he could have really took advantage of Dorothy, but in ways or whatever. But instead, he was
Yeah.
pretty much just telling her to go home, to go
Yeah.
back home. Don't run away, go back home.
Yeah.
Which becomes the theme of this movie is the home,
Yeah.
or
There's no
whatever.
place like home.
What?
There's no place like home.
Right. I mean, that is literally the theme of the movie is like you think like you want to run away because you want to protect something or whatever, but the truth is it's better to stay home. Now,
Yeah.
had she stayed home, she and Toto would have gone into the storm cellar thing with everybody else and they would have all been fine.
Yeah.
Um and whatnot, but she didn't. She ran away because she ran away and came back. All of this happened to her and she got knocked out. Thankfully she
Hmm.
didn't die. Bad things could have happened. Um,
Yeah.
but so anyway, so she ends up going into the house looking for Annie M. And uh, I remember hearing them say it's a twister. It's a twister. I did not see that in the new movie. Is that in the
Which,
movie? In
which
the
new?
not new movie, but in the on HBO Max, I didn't remember hearing them say it's a twister. It's a twister.
Huh.
Was that in your? I
I
mean,
think I think I heard them saying there's. Oh no, they were yelling it's coming at one point. I think I
hold
don't
on,
remember if they said it's a twister or not.
because it's not like the
They
most
were
one of.
mostly just like rounding everybody up to get into the shelter.
Yeah, I thought I originally remember it being it's a twister. It's a twister from Wizard of Oz. I
Uh-huh.
don't know if that's really. Hold on. So I'm looking up on YouTube right now. Maybe I missed it. Like, look, maybe I was
I
looking
don't
down or
remember.
something happened or whatever. I just didn't hear that line.
Hmm.
So, uh, hold on. I'm trying to get it. I
Okay.
know it's kind of boring.
Nah.
Hold on. Yeah, because I remember them being at so the Twister comes to the house, all the chickens and stuff are going crazy.
Uh-huh.
Um, he's calling for Hickory. Okay, so he does say it. So maybe I missed it. Maybe I missed it. But he goes, "It's a Twister. It's a Twister," which is
Yeah.
I don't know why, but that's always I think that's sort of like parodied or something. Like it's in all these other movies, and it's just a line everybody remembers or whatever.
Yeah.
And so they all go in the storm thing, and then the Twister comes and takes her house, knocks her knocks her out. And when she wakes up, she starts seeing all these crazy things, everything flying around. Her house looks like it's spinning around, which is pretty cool for that time period.
Yeah.
Like 1939, all that was like practical
Hmm.
stuff. Like that was not like what we like nowadays it would be a green screen and CGI and stuff, like
Yeah.
animation somehow, but this was all done practical, which actually looked pretty cool for
Yeah.
and then
They
so
did a good job.
she saw the witch, or whatever. The
Well, she
lady riding
saw
her,
her as the neighbor lady, and then she transformed into the witch.
yeah. And there's a lot of talk about the
Mhm.
fact because we talked about this ourselves through text
Mhm.
that that the lady what was her name?
Oh,
The neighbor, Miss Gulch.
yes.
Miss Gulch died. The whole idea like that people have said, and I had to look this up on like Reddits and other things to find this, information out that
Mhm.
but basically Mrs. Gulch died in the Twister because at the end of the movie I'm like, oh no, she's gonna still be like have Miss Gulch coming after the dog, right? Like
Hmm.
Toto, right? And Miss Gulch apparently died, so that's what I read about, and that's the big thing is I think it was might have been even in the book. I'm not sure.
I don't remember. I haven't read the book since I was like 10.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
But the book actually, I do remember it had stuff that I was waiting to happen on screen, and I was like, why'd they leave that out? I can't
yeah,
remember specifics, but I remember thinking that as a kid, I was like, I grabbed my book and I'd look and I'm like, this is wrong. This is all wrong.
they left a lot from the book out actually,
They did.
interestingly enough. But so anyway, so he goes, so the house flies or whatever, and all this stuff is happening, and then it lands. And when she comes out of the house, she's in Oz, right? And
Mhm.
everybody's all spooked out by her, like, who is she? Like, what's going on? And that's when we meet Glinda, the Good Witch,
Mhm.
who comes down uh to come say hello and everything and say, you killed the Wicked Witch of the East.
Mhm.
And she was this. I mean, I guess there's a Wicked Witch of the East. I wonder if there's a Wicked Witch of the North and South too.
Yeah. I forgot which one Glinda was, but I think she was the one from the north.
But she was a good witch from the North,
Yes.
right? So was there a
Evidently,
good?
from the way that she was talking, I caught on to the part where the Wicked Witch of the East and West, but the North and South were good.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
I
wonder.
think. I mean, that's what I caught from it.
I wonder what that like. What that's supposed to like imply or something. Like sometimes there's
Hmm.
a deeper meaning behind that stuff. Like, was the Wicked Witch of the East and West, was it wicked because it's East and West and the North and South are like, is he trying to say like up and down is better than like going straight ahead
Yeah,
like that, like what, or across? I don't know, but it was an
yeah.
interesting thing of like, yeah, it was East, West, and then North and South were
Mhm.
good, I guess. We never meet the other witches.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
true. And Glinda, I think it was Glinda. Yeah, she thought she asked Dorothy, or somebody asked Dorothy what kind of witch she was.
it was Glinda.
It was okay.
Glinda
Yeah,
said, "Are
thought so.
you a good witch or a bad witch?"
Yes,
She
and
said,
she's
"I'm
like,
not
I'm
a
not a
witch at
witch at
all.
all.
I'm not. I'm just a
Yeah.
girl. Just trying to figure out what's going on." You know.
Yep.
And then,
And then they discover the feet hanging out from under the house.
yeah, they
You
knew
know
that
that
she had
that part
killed
that
the
part where the feet rolled up really disturbed me as a kid, by the way. It's like
the way they did
I
it
even
was
had
pretty
nightmares
cool.
of people in striped pantyhose.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see this movie really fucking up kids like psyches and shit.
Oh
Not
yeah.
me, man. I don't know. I think the witch might have been something that might have freaked me out a little bit, but I don't know. Anywho, um, going back to um, going back to this. Um, so the good witch and the bad witch, Glinda asks and stuff, and you come to find out that the wicked witch of the west comes, and even then, like she finds out she's in like Munchkin Land, which is just this I guess little city, where uh and then the wicked witch wants the ruby slippers, and she goes to get the ruby slippers off of her. I guess it's her sister. That's
I think
Glinda's
they did
sister.
say it was her sister.
So he goes to get the ruby slippers off her sister, and they're now on Dorothy,
Hmm.
and she can't get them off unless she kills Dorothy. Which I'm
Yep,
like, why didn't she just kill her right then and there?
I
Like,
know.
like, oh, well, if the only way I can kill her is, right? Was she afraid like Glinda was gonna do some magic or something and, stop her or whatever? I don't know. But she was
Yeah.
like, I'll get you, my little pretty, and your little dog too. And she storms off and everything. And Glinda introduces her to all the Munchkins who she saved because I guess the Wicked Witch of the East was probably like menacing them at the time,
Hmm.
which is actually a prequel I'd love to see, sort of like what happened right before the house fell on her. You
Uh-huh.
know, like what was she doing? Like was was the Wicked Witch of the East just like, you know, going, "Oh, I'm gonna get you all," like terrorizing them, like, and they're like,
Comes up
"Leave
and
me
taking their
alone."
cheeks. You're so cute.
Yeah, oh, I want to pinch those cheekies, ah, leave me alone. Help, help. Oh, this house is falling down. It didn't kill anyone else either.
I
Like it just
know
dropped on
that.
her.
Yep.
It would have been terrible if it dropped on like a couple munchkins. Like there. Oops.
I have been like, oh.
I would have. Oh, but you don't feel bad for the Wicked Witch of the East, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. We don't know. See, that's the funny thing is like when you watch this movie, you kind of just go with it. But
Yeah.
like we've
I
never
mean, what
met.
if she actually was nice? And we're
Yeah,
just like rooting for Dorothy, like,
misunderstood.
woo, she killed the witch.
She was the misunderstood witch, you know? The Wicked Witch of the West was the really mean one, but this one was
Yeah.
sort of mean. I had some little mean streaks to her, but she wasn't as mean as the Wicked Witch of the
Yeah.
West. She was trying, and maybe she was trying to be nicer or whatever, and then all of a sudden she didn't get the chance because the house fell on top of her. And none of this even matters because at the end it's a dream. So,
Yeah.
you know,
It's
let
like
the
Super
one.
Mario Brothers 2. It was all a dream. You're like, what?
Yep. So anyway, so he goes up and says, so they introduce him to the Munchkins, and I'm sorry, when I was a kid, the Munchkins creeped me out. Like when they start going, we're in the Lollipop Guild, I'm
What's
like,
funny is I started singing that to my cat the other day and he attacked me.
you told me about that.
Because I
That's
was like,
funny.
we represent the Lollipop Guild, the Lollipop Guild. He's looking at me now too.
Attack you on
I
camera.
don't know if he likes it or if he hates it, but his eyes just whoop.
He's like, he's gonna. Oh
I
my
was
God.
chasing him around the house just doing speech like a munchkin for a
Don't
good
do that.
5 minutes.
Then you're gonna be the wicked witch of this house, of your household. Um, so uh can just I don't know why you just did that because now he's gonna attack you. Um, but anyway, yeah, no, but see that I mean that creeped me out as a kid. And I forgot the other one. There was the Lollipop Guild and then there was the Lullaby. Um union or something, like because that was the guild, and then this was like a club or lullaby club or
Yeah.
something. And so, and it's a bunch of girls, we're part of the lullaby club, lullaby club. And I'm like, so the guys just have like guilds and clubs. I mean, like, what?
Yep.
Like, what do they do? Just sing lullabies and eat lollipops? Like, I don't get what this was just weird. Um,
Yeah, they never went into how they got named those things.
I don't think it mattered, but like in
Yeah.
the long run, I'm
You're like,
like,
it's gonna make sense. They won't question it.
I never did as a kid. I was
I
just
didn't
like,
either.
what is going on here? Like, I swear to God, this is not the movie to watch like watch on acid. You'd be like you're a cat, like
You're like the
like
witches. The witches. Do you see the shiny shoes?
I remember
That'd be
I did
horrible.
some drugs back in the day when I was a little kid, when I was younger. I don't do them now, thank God, because I could not
Good.
handle them as an adult.
Oh,
But as a younger lad, I did them, and I watched Apocalypse Now. That's not a movie to watch when you're on like high on anything like that can
uh-uh.
like screw with your psyche. I thought I was in the middle of the was it in the I thought I was in like the jungles, Vietnam, like with them,
No, no.
and everything. I was in the woods with my friends.
Uh-huh.
I had a stick in my hand, but I literally thought that I was like that. My friends were like, we're not ever giving you drugs again." I was like, "Thank God, please don't." I
Exactly.
did not like this. And at the end of it, a big dragon came to eat me. It didn't eat me, thank
Oh,
God, but like I saw the dragon, and they're like, "You had a bad," he had a bad batch right there.
wow, that's not cool.
Yeah, that was the worst thing ever.
That sounds
But
scary.
yeah, it sounds like its own little horror movie.
You should
In
write that one.
itself, right? I could write that.
You
And
should.
I could literally remember that because the worst part was it was not one of those things that like you black out or something. You can't remember anything that happens.
Uh-huh.
You remember it all as it's happening. You have no control over anything, just is happening to you. Scariest thing ever. But yeah, if you watch this movie and like the lollipop guild, you're like, ah, like these people are coming to attack me. Yeah.
I don't know which one was creepier, the Munchkins or the Oompa Loompas from the Chocolate Factory.
Wouldn't
They
that be a
both
great
creepy.
mashup?
Yeah.
Like Oompa Loompas versus Munchkins?
Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing.
I would just love to see like what would happen. Like that's a movie right there. Make that movie. Peter Dinklage could be in it. I don't care. You know,
Yes.
he can be the one who's like telling everybody, "All right, begin." You
Yep.
know, it'd be like Mortal Kombat, and you'll be like,
Oh.
"It has begun." He like lets them all out. One goes out of the factory, one comes out of their land, and
I
yeah,
don't know why, but I want to make this a video game. I can see me playing a few hours on that.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, I think I'd get lost in that game. That might be actually be a thing that Paul would like because he does like little people,
Oh.
like you know. Um, so anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. So yeah, so the Munchkins and Munchkin Land and everything like that, and she tells them that the Glinda tells her that she has to go find the Wizard of Oz. He's gonna be the one who can help you get home. And
Yeah.
she's like, "Where's the wizard?" "Well, just follow the yellow brick road." And then there's this really obnoxious song. When I was a kid, I loved it. As an adult, I'm like, "Oh my God, this is so this is not what I remembered as a kid. But it's like, follow
Yeah.
the yellow brick road, follow the yellow brick road, follow the yellow brick road. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh, why did I like this as a kid? I don't know. I
What's
don't
funny is
as an
that song
adult.
was stuck in my head all day today.
Oh, for real? Did
Yeah.
you follow the yellow brick road? I want to find a yellow brick road just so I can say, hey, I'm following it.
I found one in, I think it was New Orleans.
Oh,
They painted a street yellow, but it may have been for some type of festival. I don't know. I was just like, there's a yellow brick road.
oh Lord. So she goes and follows this yellow brick road and goes down
Into the
it, and then
forest.
she meets some friends of hers,
Mhm.
and she starts one by one meeting these people. And the first one she meets is a scarecrow, who doesn't have a brain. And I'm like, and he can't talk. As an adult, I'm
Yeah.
not thinking about these. Like, I'm thinking it more logically, not like this is a kid thing, like
Yeah.
this isn't meant for adults to like ponder and think about, but like,
Yeah.
how can he think at all? Like, how can words come out of his mouth? How can anything happen if he doesn't have any kind of brain? He must have some brain in there,
Yeah.
but he doesn't because he's made of straw. That's the whole idea, right? He's just straw.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't be able to talk at all either.
Exactly.
So,
Well, his head was pretty much a burlap sack
right?
stuffed
Yeah.
with straw. But
Uh,
still, you think that while he was talking, straw would shoot out of his mouth?
maybe. But nothing like that happened. It was just
No.
um or he could have coughed up like straw, like sorry, hair straw. Um
Ew.
anyway, so he's talking to her and he's like, if I only had a brain. Once
Yeah.
again, I'm like, songs are so ridiculous. Like, and they're getting like I used to love these songs because they were so
Yeah.
catchy. So as a kid, I was
Yes.
singing it because I wasn't thinking about anything. I just like went along with it. As an adult, I'm
Yeah.
going, this doesn't really, I mean, it holds up. So like when I say the movie holds up, it holds up to what I remembered it being.
Yeah.
But like when you look back at it, you actually think about whatever, like it's ridiculous. It's silly. Um, but it's a kid movie, if
Yeah.
this was made for adults, I think I'd be bored. You know what I mean?
Probably so. Yeah.
I don't think they could make this for like for adults. It'd have to be a kid affair.
Yeah.
So if I only had a brain and then they're starting to walk around and I think it was about that time that apparently they went to go get apples from a tree
Uh-huh.
and the tree is like, "Hey, leave me alone.
Yeah.
Don't pull that apple for me." you know, would you? And she's like, but I'm hungry. And he's like, would you like me to pull something off of you? Right? And, it starts getting mad and throwing apples at them. I'm like, dang.
Yeah. Did they ever
Uh,
catch any of the apples and eat them? Because I don't
I think
remember
so.
seeing
Yeah, I
that.
think
Okay.
so. I think they
Yeah,
did.
I don't know. I
Because
like,
I think he made one of them mad, so you would
uh-huh.
throw the tree would throw the apple and they could catch it and eat it. Because that
See,
was the
that's
only
what
way
I
they were
was
going to
thinking
get it
too.
because he wouldn't allow them to like pull it off them, pluck it off them.
Yeah.
Which I get, like, I'm wondering why more trees wouldn't do that. Hey, leave my apple alone.
Yeah.
Like it's part of me.
Yeah.
Like, but how confused deer would be if that happened. Deers are going and picking up like things, and then the
My
pe-
God.
the trees are like, hey, wait, like, like, they'd run off like quickly.
Yes.
Oh Lord, that'd be funny. Anyway, maybe
Yeah.
it'll be in the new Bambi. Um, yeah, that Disney's doing. There's a tree that yells at Bambi, and Bambi's like, takes off running. So then, so they meet the crazy tree, issue. Then they meet the Tin Man,
Yep.
and the Tin Man's just exactly his name. He's a man made of tin, which is just weird. I don't know. Frank L. Baum, who wrote it, like, I don't know what he was smoking, and he was like, we're gonna have a scarecrow. Can you imagine him explaining to people like the gist, like the publishers? Okay, this is the Wizard of Oz. It's about this girl, Dorothy. She gets into a tornado. Her house starts spinning. She gets knocked out. Her house starts spinning. It lands on a witch. this other witch tells her that because of her ruby slippers, she needs to go find this wizard, right? Go down this yellow brick road, go down and find this wizard, and and then what is it? And then they're gonna run into a scarecrow, a tin man, and a cowardly lion, and was it and a tree that can throw things at you, and little monkey people who go
Oh, the
around,
flying monkeys.
oh, we're gonna flying monkeys, and then the the wizard is gonna be a loser, So there you go. That's the gist of. And the publisher's like, that sounds like the greatest children book of all time. I love it.
Let's mess up all these generations to come.
Right. Let's make them think like, what the fuck is wrong with the 30s?
I know.
Uh,
Okay, so the Cowardly Lion. Did you see? I think it was on American Idol or something like that, where the girl did the song that he was singing.
the like which
Yeah.
one? Like that one? He's like,
I were the king of the forest. It's like there was a woman that did that.
no, that
Yes,
sounds
went on there, and
amazing.
they're all looking. The judges are looking at each other like, "Is she serious?" And she was. I mean, she was so into it.
Did she dress up like a lion? Please tell me she dressed up
No,
like a
she was
lion.
in normal clothes.
Oh, that's
Oh
even
my
worse.
gosh!
Oh, that's
Like I wasn't expecting that to come out. I'm like, oh, she did it.
she did it. She went there. Did what's his name? God,
Oh, what did he say?
not uh
Simon.
no, not Simon. The
Which
other guy.
one?
What?
Oh, what is the other guy's name?
Weird how I can't think of his name right now because he's one of my favorite favorite people from American Idol. Um, God, hold on. This is gonna drive me crazy. Um, Randy Jackson.
Oh,
Did he say, that's a no for me, dog? Or
I
did he
don't
go, is that
remember
a
what
no
they
for me
said. I just
line?
remember the looks. Like this girl's nuts.
Did they vote no?
Yes, every
Oh,
one of them, girl.
I would have voted yes just because she had the courage to get up and do that.
The
You know?
the couragely lion. That's
Yeah,
what she
right.
was.
She was the couragely lion. Wow, that takes some guts right there to go up there and
Yeah.
do that song as a woman too, because that is
Oh yeah.
definitely a man song. Like I hate to say it,
Yes.
but like that sounds terrible. I mean, I guess a woman could do it, but like it would. I definitely want to see it now because I think that would
Yeah.
just be
Just look
so
up the
weird.
Cowardly Lion,
I'm
American
looking that up
Idol.
now,
Yeah,
and
you're gonna
just so it'll
love
be in
it.
my search later. Cowardly Lion, American Idol. Yep, that's the first thing that pops up. Oh my God, I'm not gonna lie, but she's kind of a big woman.
Yeah.
Kind of fits with that, I guess. That works. So, all right. Good for you, girl. Like good for you. Like you tried, man. And
Yeah.
but I want to know if that was real or if that like if she was just like I got on American Idol and I can't really do anything, so I'm just gonna just do this, you know.
Yeah.
That's awesome though. That yeah, I love that. Oh man, I need to watch that later. And
Yeah.
everybody else, look that up. That sounds
Oh
amazing.
yeah. You will love it. Because she was just like so into it. Like in her mind, she was
She
singing
was
for
the king of the
Broadway.
forest. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I were king. Yeah, that song. And even I'd be afraid to do that like live in front of like
I
billions of
know.
people. Like let me see how many views that got. Just that alone.
Probably tons.
22,000, which
Oh,
isn't
that's
as much
it?
as I thought.
Oh, wow.
Wow,
I guess
yeah.
everybody saw it on the show and they were like,
Yeah.
oh, we're not
Yeah,
looking
we
that
don't
up.
need it. We're done. We can that's it. Oh, that's funny. Um so yeah, so
Twilight,
she
by the way, did not like my singing of the Cowardly Lion. He like got his pupils huge staring at me.
again,
Yeah.
he's not liking you singing at all, apparently.
Oh, he likes it when I sing opera.
Oh,
Yeah. Because I
I,
make up songs about him and I run around the house
oh, this
singing.
is all about
Yeah.
him. He's a very
Yeah.
selfish cat,
He
apparently.
is.
Oh Lord. But yeah, so anyway, moving on. Um yeah, so we meet the Cowardly Lion, who he doesn't sing that song at first. I think he has another
No.
song. Because he sings that song when he's to meet the wizard and stuff,
Yes.
and at first he seems like really rough and scary and stuff, and then he runs after like the scarecrow and stuff,
Mhm.
and the scarecrow goes basically to hide behind Dorothy, and Dorothy the
Yeah.
bops a lion on the nose, which in real life, you bop a lion on the nose, he ain't gonna like start crying. I would not want to bop an actual lion on the nose. This isn't a real lion, and this is a human lion, basically, because it's a human lion, a human scarecrow, and a human Tin Man, thingy.
Yeah.
Um,
I
and
wonder what type of makeup they used on the Cowardly Lion. Because I know the Tin Man's makeup made him very sick.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I
It
don't know.
actually had lead in it.
Yeah, they really kind of, but it does look great. I
Yeah, it
mean,
looks
I'm
really
sorry that the
good.
dude got like sick, but like it doesn't,
Yeah.
you know.
What's funny is if you go to New Orleans, they have like the Tin Man, they have the Gold Man just walking around like French Quarter.
I think they do that too on they used to, at least. They used to, I think, at Hollywood Boulevard,
Oh,
the
really?
the Walk of Fame and stuff, when you
Uh-huh.
walk down it. I think because now it's like Marvel characters and things,
Uh-huh.
whatever. Wonder Woman, walks around, things like that. And then you
Yeah.
give them money. I think they used to do that for these guys. It's funny
Um,
because a movie I want to do, I think in December with Paul, if he is okay with it, is A Christmas Story. And there was the Wicked
love the
Witch
Christmas
in the
story.
Christmas Story, you know,
Yeah.
so I yeah. But it's funny because I don't think Paul loves that movie, but he
Mhm.
always references it. Oh, I'm like, but he never references this movie. You know what I mean? Like he
Yeah.
never and I think it's because the pink bunny suit that Ralphie wears in that movie. Um so anyway, to go back, maybe we'll try to get a couple people on there. Maybe we'll do a Zoom, get a couple people on there. So we'll get
That'd be
you and
cool. Yeah, I'd love to
Paul and
do
some other
that.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Because I watch that movie every Christmas.
and like it would be a December episode, so I figured do a Christmas movie,
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
I don't think,
That was a good one.
yeah.
My favorite part was the tongue guy that got his tongue stuck to the
Yeah.
control.
It's funny, I've never done that because of that movie. Like I just won't try it.
Yeah.
Like, and even if my friends like triple dog dared me, I would tell them to go screw themselves because
Yeah.
I'm not, because I don't even think it's real. Like, I don't think it will really happen, but I don't want to,
Actually, they tested it. Well,
on like
not the tongue.
Mythbusters. Is that
Oh, no, no, jackass. But they checked it with the butt and they really stuck to the ice.
okay?
I don't remember which movie it was, but I was like, okay. Didn't want to see that.
Right.
Yeah.
So
But
I
I
don't,
do think that if your tongue is dry, it could actually stick to to the ice.
okay. Well, I'm
I
still
wouldn't
never,
test it either way.
yeah, because like,
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't happen, then it
Uh-huh.
didn't matter, right? But
Yeah.
if it does happen, you're screwed. You know,
Yep. Just carry a cup of water outside when you do it.
I guess, yeah, you'd have to bring water with you.
Yeah.
I don't remember how they got it done. Like they like put some salt or something on it or whatever. Uh,
Something.
they pulled it off, like pulled them off, and then all of a sudden, like later, you had a like, you know what? We're talking about a movie that we're hopefully going to be talking
Yeah.
about later. So let's wait on that for
The
another
Wizard of
episode.
Oz.
Back to
Oh,
those,
the Yellow Brick
back
Road.
to our regularly scheduled program. You know, us. So yeah. So the Cowardly Lion, he needs courage. The Tin Man needs a heart. Now, okay. So these are all the other guys that Hunk. What the heck? I'm so bad at this. It was like Hunk and uh er, um Hunk, Zeke, and Hickory. And all of so like I said, Hunk was the Scarecrow, and that was played by Ray Bolger. By the way, we didn't even go into any of the cast
Oh,
of like
yeah.
who they are. Usually we do that before we go into the story, but
Yeah.
you know, things can be different sometimes. Ray Bolger, whose uh claim to fame was The Wizard of Oz, obviously, but he was also in Babes in Toyland um
Ah.
back in 1961. He was Barnaby Barnacle. I never watched that. I don't know if you ever did as a kid or
When I was
anything.
a kid, I remember watching.
He was in a movie called Where's Charlie? So the lead in that. And he was in another movie called April in Paris. So he's in a bunch of stuff. Like he has a huge. So if you want to look up some of the stuff he's been in, Bert Lar, Lahr, plays Zeke, and that's the Cowardly Lion.
Mhm.
And he was in Sing Your Worries Away in 1942. So I guess he's a singer. Well, he did have a really great like you were doing the voice that got your cat to go crazy, but when he did that, he was it was a great song. Like he was a good
Yes.
singer.
Oh,
He
yeah.
had a fantastic voice. So I
Yes.
get it. Jack Haley played the Scarecrow, aka or the Tin Man, aka Hickory, and he was in Vacation in Reno, Sing Your Way Home, another singing one, and One Body Too Many. So,
Hmm.
um, Judy Garland, everybody's favorite. Did you know originally Shirley Temple was up for the role?
Yes, I read that before.
But apparently she can sing very well, and
Hmm.
so they couldn't like I mean Judy Garland's got a voice, you know.
Yeah.
And Judy Garland is much older than not much, but she was like at least 10 years older, if not more. 20,
Hmm.
something like that. Like she was, I think, I don't know how old. She was born in 1922. It was 1939.
Hmm.
I am terrible with math, so let me do that on a calculator. 1939 minus 1922. 17. She was 17 years old in this.
Ah.
Interesting.
Huh.
It goes back to like things like because a lot of times nowadays, if you have a 17-year-old, like they really watch you like a hawk and everything.
Hmm.
And you can't go out past the certain times and everything until you turn 18, until you're legally or unless you're emancipated or something, but unless you're an adult, you can't do any of that stuff. So it's funny. I didn't know she was 17. She seemed older, so maybe she was about the same age. For some reason, I thought she was older than
Hmm.
she actually is. Maybe that's
Fun
also.
fact about Judy Garland.
Hmm.
This I saw this article that was talking about her nostrils. They were large in this movie, like spread open.
Like that.
And in another movie shortly after, the nostrils were back to normal.
Oh no
They
no.
used the little thing to spread her nostril.
Yeah.
And
So
evidently that was like a sign of beauty back then.
they did a lot to fix her. Apparently, I was watching this little video about the making of it, and one of the things they said was originally they didn't want Judy Garland because they didn't think she was that attractive for the
Oh.
audience, I guess, kind of
Mhm.
thing. So they did everything they could to like fix her up to make her look like what Dorothy would look like and to everybody and
Ah.
everything. And so a lot of that like kind of reconstructive kind of stuff, to kind of fix her up. And
Mhm.
that like that thing with her nose and other things to make
Yeah.
her look different. And then yeah, so then in other movies she would probably go back to the way she actually is or whatever and whatnot and very confused people like,
Yeah.
like I don't remember looking like that in Wizard of Oz. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, she didn't. She was in Stars Born, Meet Me in St. Louis, St. Louis, bunch of different stuff. I mean, she was a big star. Um,
Yeah.
Frank Morgan, who if you look him up on IMDb, he's the wizard on the thing. So that's like I guess his biggest thing. He was in The Shop Around the Corner. I do remember hearing about this movie. I don't know. Uh, yes, I've seen it. I saw it on, I believe it was on HBO Max at one point, and I watched it, or Tubi, one of those things. And I watched it because I wanted to, like, I was on a kick at one point to watch a bunch of Cary Grant and James Stewart movies that I hadn't seen. So I watched
Mhm.
this and Bringing Up Baby, and I liked The Shop Around the Corner a lot better than Bringing Up Baby because I just didn't find the humor in Breaking Up Baby as funny as I
Mhm.
thought, like I was expecting it to be, and I didn't
Mhm.
like Cary Grant. Um, I'm just so used to him as a certain way, and when he kind of played like this nerdy type, I couldn't buy it, you know. But in Shop Around the Corner, it was two employees at a gift shop can barely stand each other without realizing they are falling in love through the post as each other's anonymous love letters that they're
Hmm.
sending each other, like pen pals,
Yeah.
and they're anonymous pen pal. And so there's this thing, and it's so cute. It's so funny. There's some like, parts in it. I was like, oh my God, they could get away with that back then. They can't get away with a lot of the stuff now. And Frank Morgan was the boss, I believe, of that.
Ah,
So
I've never
I,
seen that one.
if you get a chance to watch
Good.
it, definitely check it out. It's
Nice.
it's probably my favorite. Um, So he didn't just play Professor Marvel, which was his name for his fortune teller stuff. He played the
Mhm.
Wizard of Oz, but he also played the gatekeeper, the carriage driver, and the guard, right? So he was all of those different characters. And I'm wondering if they did that because of like it was like the wizard's world, that they were going into. So all those characters were there. I don't think it was because they couldn't find anybody to play those roles, or whatever.
Yeah,
There was a specific reason that they did that. But I thought that was pretty cool. Like when
that
he
is
was like,
pretty cool.
"Oh, it's a horse of a different color. Come on in." And then you see the horse of a different color. And
And it keeps changing colors.
yeah, it keeps changing colors, which is pretty neat, you know.
See, I didn't catch that well, I don't remember catching that part as a kid being like, hey, it's a pink horse, it's a purple horse, it's a green horse. What?
I don't know if
But
I did or
watching it
not.
this time, I was like, I didn't remember that.
I don't know if I did or not, like as a kid,
Uh-huh.
but I absolutely loved it. Like I thought that was
Yeah.
great as an adult for sure. I think I might have because I do remember, like, remember when he said a horse of a different color that I do remember seeing a horse of different colors, and
Mhm.
stuff. So, which is like, I guess, like sort of the joke, but it's like, okay, we're taking this a little bit too literally, now, Um, and so, yeah, so they go off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. But before then, the witch has a plan for them, and that is to stop them by knocking them out with poppies,
Yep.
and everything. So they start getting tired and sleepy and stuff. And I forgot which one it was. Wasn't the Cowardly Lion was also there? I think Scarecrow and the
Yeah.
Tin Man were like help, help,
Yeah.
we need help, somebody. And
Because
so
Dorothy
Glinda,
wanted to lay down, and then the Cowardly Lion, you just see his back feet sticking up in the air. Yeah.
and then so the Glinda overhears that she's sort of like God, I guess, because she's just like her, like she's superimposed over everybody, and
Yeah.
she just sprinkles snow onto the
Mhm.
thing, and that I guess fixes the whole Poppy situation, and the Wicked Witch is not happy about that,
Yeah.
whatever. So they go to see the wizard finally. They knock on the door, and that's when that, guard person's like, go away,
Yeah.
and it was like, oh no, this is Dorothy. She's here to see the wizard or whatever. Oh, why didn't you say so? That's a horse of a different color. Come on in. Lets them come in, which was parodied in Rookie of the Year. I don't know if you ever saw that movie back in the day or whatever, but there was this
Very
movie
fit.
about a kid who his name was Henry Rowan Gardner, played by Thomas Ian Nicholas, who later would go on to like American Pie and stuff.
Yeah.
But he played this kid who had and that's gonna be another Film Freaks at some point, because I love that movie. But he had his arm got broke, right? And so he was able to play for the Cubs as a young
Uh-huh.
kid, and the Cubs have always sort of been jokingly bad. Like people have always, whatever. So this was a whole movie about how the Cubs were going to be able to win because they have this kid, right? And when they
Mhm.
knock on the door, this man opens it up from like up there, and he looks down and he looks at the kid and he's like, okay, autographs are after the game, right? And they're like, no, this is Henry Rowan. He's the new pitcher. He goes, oh, why didn't you say so? That's a horse of a different color. Come on in. And I'm like, oh,
Was that the
nice.
one where his tendons healed wrong and he had like the super throw?
Yeah.
Okay, yes, I do remember that one.
It has one of the best lines in all of movie history, which is his hand, like they're just testing his hand, and his hand comes down like really hard on the doctor's like nose, like hits the doctor's nose, and the doctor's like, oh, funky butt loving. Like,
Yeah.
kids are like, did he just say funky butt loving? Oh, I love that movie. It's one of those movies when I was a kid. I was never into like watching baseball or playing baseball even. Like I would
Yeah.
play it if like literally all my friends were it's all they wanted to do or something. But I was never into it.
Yeah.
Then uh then I would watch like this and Sandlot and all that stuff. So anyway,
Angels in the outfield.
Angels and from the
There
Outfield,
were a
which
lot of
had a
good
lot of
baseball
Disney stuff
movies.
too.
Yeah,
And Disney needs to bring that back, man.
they
Like I
do.
would love to see a really good Disney baseball movie.
Yeah,
I could write one for them if they want,
you
just saying.
could.
Get some good ideas. Um Anywho, moving on. So they bring him in, they ride a horse of a different color, they go in to go see the wizard, and they're basically told no, he doesn't want to see anybody today, right? So they are kind of disappointed, but they eventually convince him because like she's sad and she's crying, she doesn't think she'll be able to come home, all this
Yeah.
stuff, and it breaks the guard's heart. Guard's like, all right, fine, I'll let you go see him for a couple minutes. I'm like, wait, you're gonna let yourself go in there? Like, he looks just like the guy. Was he the
Yeah.
same character? Was he the guard, and then later on he had to run in and play play the
He's
wizard?
just like running back and forth.
Hold
He
on,
just takes the hat off and throws it in the corner. I'm a different person.
I'm a
I have
different.
no hat.
It's the same guy, and it looks like the same guy. They don't do any kind of makeup to make him look different,
I know. Now, if they remade it, there would be like tons of different looks on each person.
And all of them would be played by Eddie Murphy. So why
Ah,
not, right? Um, actually, I would, who would be a
I would
great
watch
wizard?
that.
Jim
Who?
Carrey would be a great wizard.
Yes.
If it were really more about the wizard, and stuff, he
Yeah.
would be a fantastic wizard. I'd love to see
Oh
him be a
yeah,
wizard.
definitely.
Uh,
I want to
I,
see that.
see, that's cool. Like, because the Great and Powerful Oz movie, I think they did have that. I think James Franco played him, which
Uh-huh.
I love James Franco. He's a great actor. He's not what I would. Yeah, I think he played the wizard. I'm not, I don't want to say the wrong thing real quick. The Great and Powerful Oz. Um, Oz the Great and Powerful. I am dyslexic. What the hell? People are listening to this going, it's Oz the Great and Powerful.
See, I
You're
don't think I got
wrong.
to see that one.
Yeah, so James Franco played Oz. Michelle Williams played Annie slash Glinda. Rachel Weisz played Evanora, which I think okay, and Mila Kunis played Theodora, the Wicked Witch.
Hmm.
So of the West. So who was Evanora? Was she one of the other witches? So that is sort of a prequel, I think, or something, or at least kind of like
Huh.
I think it says a small-time magician is swept away. Yeah, it is a prequel. It's a prequel to an
No.
enchanted land that is forced into a power struggle between three witches. Three,
Hmm.
only three. So there's not the fourth. There's
Yeah.
not in this one. And I think Evanora was one of the. I think she was probably the Wicked Witch of the. She's the one who gets her probably the house on her, which I wonder
Yeah.
if that happens at the end of that, movie. Because I have
Hmm.
not seen that movie in forever, so I
Hmm.
can't. I think I stopped it halfway through. I just couldn't. It just didn't feel like Wizard of Oz, which is fine because it's
Hmm.
not, But like, it didn't have that. It's like when they remade Tim Burton remade Willy Wonka, but called it Charlie and the Chocolate Factory to keep with the book. It just
Yeah.
didn't have that magic that Gene Wilder brought. Like I
Yeah.
love Johnny Depp, but he wasn't Willy Wonka to me, you know,
Yeah.
and he played that like Michael Jackson a little bit too much, kind of creeped me out. Um, not in a good way, because like Willy Wonka creeped me out at times. When they're going down the they're rowing in the boat or they're in the boat and they start everything starts kind of getting all weird and
Yeah.
everything. That creeped me the heck out as a kid.
You want to
Uh,
know what made it even creepier?
what?
There was a part on, I think it was on Portrait of American Family by Marilyn Manson, where they had that part start off a song where they're in the boat and it just gets like really demon sounding by the end of it. And all you can picture is this boat spinning in circles. It's like, woo,
That's creepy.
no. Yeah,
Yeah.
because they're like, yes. I'm like, okay, this is
Ah,
not. I thought I was actually watching. I hadn't seen the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory since I was a kid. And when I saw this video, I was like, was that really in this movie? Then I realized it was Marilyn Manson. So,
okay.
yeah, but they
Dang.
did the whole boat scene at the start of one of his songs.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, okay, so they go to the wizard, and the wizard pretty much says, "Bring me the broomstick, I guess, of the Wicked Witch," right?
Uh-huh.
So and I will grant you your wish, and everything. And
Hmm.
he's all mean. And I remember Spaceballs making fun of this movie where, it was like the great and powerful
Oh,
yogurt.
yeah, where
Mel
when
Mel
Rick
Brooks.
Moranis was talking on the thing.
No, it was from when Mel Brooks comes out and they're like, Yogurt the Wise, Yogurt the
Yeah.
Magnificent. He goes, no, 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 just plain yogurt. But it's like it sets up like where it's Wizard of Oz where they're going walking down this thing and they're all scared and
Yeah.
terrified and Dot, played by Joan Rivers, is trying to escape, trying to leave, and she's the cowardly lion at that point, and they're grabbing her and everything. Such a great parody. But like, yeah, I absolutely love that. another movie that should one day be on Film Freaks because I
Oh
absolutely adore it. It's one of my favorite Star Wars parody kind of things.
yeah, mine too.
Anyway, um, so they go find the witch, I guess, or whatever, and the
Yeah,
witch finds them instead, sends her evil monkeys to
yeah,
capture them and everything, and the and Dorothy is captured, and so is Toto's captured, and then Toto
yeah,
leaves. Toto gets away, which the Wicked Witch was not caring about Toto as much.
yeah,
Like whatever, leave Toto alone. She just thought he was a stupid dog, just like Mrs. Gulch probably thought
yep.
this is just a stupid dog, like whatever. So Toto goes, and Toto's the savior of the whole movie, whatever, you know, kind of thing. And so he goes and uh gets the other people, the Scarecrow and the Tin Man, gets them to come up there, and the Cowardly Lion, and they all go up to save Dorothy, and Dorothy's running out of time. Man, have you ever wanted one of those things, like the big giant time sand thing? I always
Yes,
love
I've
that. Like, I
always
want
wanted
one of
one.
those.
I had one that was like this tall.
I think I had one that was like this tall, like you could turn it over and everything.
Yeah, I had the
And
little minute ones too, but I had the big one for I think it was like an hour that it would
oh,
pour out.
nice.
And I remember getting it at the mall. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's a what were they? Sand clock? No.
That
What were they
sounds
called?
right, but no.
Uh,
Anyway, so yeah, she's running out of time. I guess she's gonna kill her at that time or whatever, and then they all save her, and they're running around trying to escape, and they've got these guards, these creepy looking guards who are human, people or whatever, but I guess they work for her or something. I think they're human,
yeah,
right? They have like regular faces and stuff,
yeah.
and so they're just all coming after him, and I forgot why. Why did she throw the water? She like missed or something and it hit the Wicked Witch.
I think so.
I think she was trying to get rid of the fire with the
Yeah,
water, and she instead throws it on the witch. And
yeah.
I was always like, why did the witch melt? You know,
Oh,
like was that
now
in the
they end up
books?
melting. Yes.
So do you remember why like that would happen?
Ooh, I don't remember.
I think there was a reason for it or
Yeah. I'm
whatever,
sure
but
my mom still has a book. I don't know where it would be, but
I
yeah.
think I have the book somewhere too. We
Nice.
have like uh so when I was a kid, my dad would read to me before I went to sleep. I don't know if your family ever did anything
Oh,
like that to you, but it really helped me sleep, so
nice.
he'd read to me like that or read to me like Lord of the Rings or um oh, I don't know if he read Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Did read a lot of Roald Dahl. Roald Dahl was in our house. Shel Silverstein was in our house a lot, that kind of light in the attic and side where the sidewalk
Yeah, we
ends,
have
that kind of
those
stuff.
too.
Yeah, and then Wizard of Oz, and my favorites were the ones that nobody really heard of, which they did make it into a movie. There was how it was called because it wasn't called uh the name of the book. The book was called The Dark is Rising, but I think they
Hmm.
call it like The Legend of the Seeker or something like that. It
Hmm.
it's the movie is nothing like the book, and that was the
Yeah.
I think that's why they ended up not calling it The Dark is Rising, because even though it was The Dark is Rising, I think they
Hmm.
knew that people would see how different it was and whatnot. Anyway,
Yeah.
point is that's one of my favorite series too. Um
Nice.
and I would love to one day have like be a writer of the of the original books, because not like as a novel, but like as a screenwriter, because Oversea Under Stone was one of my favorite books of all time, and that was like the prequel of all the Dark is Rising series, and
Hmm.
I would love to write that, yeah, have the opportunity. I won't write it on my own because like it's just waste of time if if nothing happens. But if Susan Cooper is watching this for some odd reason, please, get get in touch with me. I'd love to write it.
Nice.
Um, yeah. I would not like to write, well, no, I would love to write like The Wizard of Oz, bring that back. I would love to see it as a series, though,
That'd be cool.
right? Like,
Really cool.
and I would call it the Merry Old Land of Oz, and I would have it be all about, you know, Oz as like a place you could go. We could visit Munchkin Land. I don't know. Can they do Munchkin Land now? Because Peter Dinklage had a problem with the seven dwarfs and stuff.
Really?
And yeah, for
Oh, I
some
didn't know that.
reason, yeah,
Oh,
he
wow.
made a complaint about it. And then Disney was afraid to do it because they thought that they were, doing something wrong. But in the same sense, they're actually screwing over little people who don't get that
Yeah.
many opportunities to play
Mhm.
roles. They could have called them seven magical creatures and have them be
Mhm.
little people. They didn't have to call them
Yeah.
dwarves,
Yeah.
and stuff. But they ended up going with, I don't know if you saw that pictures, crazy picture of Snow White, who's Latina,
Hmm.
played by Rachel Ziegler, whatever her name is, and the dwarfs are like seven people, and they're all like one's really tall, and it kind of goes down,
Hmm.
until it gets to like a tiny person, like a
Oh,
little
wow.
person. And it
Hmm.
was ridiculous. It's like, why? You know? Um, Especially if you're gonna have a little person in it, why not just
Yeah.
have them all be little people? Like
Exactly.
people want to see that, you know?
Yeah. And I've heard that they can make some good money doing that.
Oh
Like
yeah, no, they
they
charge
actually
like
are requested for stuff.
right, and they
Or at
charge
least
a
they
lot
used to be.
more
Yeah.
because they're more sought out because they're
Yeah.
not as easy to find,
Yeah.
as much as uh I guess shorter people, or
Mhm.
whatever, tall people. I mean, it's kind of like the two ones is like, a little person or a giant. Those are the
Mhm.
two are that are very hard to find because they're not as common, as every, people of every other height, and
Mhm.
stuff. So anyway, point being that I don't know if how they would do the Munchkins now, but I swear, do it like with the Munchkins, they would love
Yeah.
that. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
if they didn't love it, then I mean I'd be surprised because
Mhm.
it's not 1939 or whatever, but that's that's just, that's people getting some good work. And those
Yeah.
guys love doing it in the movie. You could tell from the way they were acting. They're just all
Yeah.
excited.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, the Merry Old Land of Oz, that's what I would do, and I would have it be all, you know, the thing is you can actually do Wizard of Oz, on your own. You don't need permission because uh it is public domain.
Oh.
So I know a guy, Lee Scott, he's a director. He made a movie called The Witches of Oz.
Hmm.
And what he told me, and this is interesting to know about people, if you're a screenwriter and you're like, oh, I want to do a public domain movie, be careful because there are some things that are copywritten in the movie.
Uh-huh.
You have to stick strictly to the books, you know?
Oh.
So if you like the ruby slippers,
Mhm.
you can't do that. And whoever owns the rights to the Wizard of Oz, I think
Mhm.
was it Warner Brothers or MGM? MGM did it,
Okay. Yeah.
I think, right? I want to say
I
it was
think
MGM.
so. I remember, well, yeah, I think
Let me
so.
let me make sure of that because I don't want to say the
Yeah.
wrong. I hate saying the wrong thing on these shows. And I do it occasionally because if I'm not looking at my phone, this is Warner Brothers. That's weird.
Hmm.
So, um, Let me look up. So yeah, Brothers owns, but it was MGM, so made it.
Hmm.
The production company was
Okay.
MGM. It was distributed by Lowe's Incorporated, but for some reason, everything I see is Warner Brothers.
Huh.
So yeah, I guess it was a collaboration with um, Warner Brothers. Um, but so Warner Brothers owns the rights and everything. That's why that makes sense why it's on HBO Max. That's Warner
Hmm.
Brothers. So or Max. I'm sorry. It's so hard to remember to say that instead of HBO Max because it makes no sense.
See, when they started calling it Max, I was thinking Cinemax.
Everybody was like
Yeah.
you know, it's so confusing. And then there was something else that I saw that the other day. I was like, they should have called that Max instead of HBO Max because that'd make more sense. But
Hmm.
whatever. It's Cinemax, Max. That makes like
Yeah.
they dropped the HBO because it HBO has Game of Thrones and Sopranos, all these adult stuff, and
Hmm.
they were trying to lean toward the kid route, try to get more kids to watch the stuff, and they thought the parents would see HBO Max and be like, "I'm not letting my kid anywhere near HBO Max," but then just
Yeah.
dropping the HBO part in the name and
Hmm.
still keeping it like that is like that's more disingenuous. Now people are going to be like, parents are going to be more upset because HBO is gone and then HBO is still on there. So your
Yeah.
kids are going to be looking that up anyway. So
Gonna
like,
be watching Amanda and the Alien by the end of it.
right. And so they're going to like, it's not, it, I understand it, but I understand like, I think it was silly, to do that. Anyway,
Yeah.
uh, so, um, So they get the broom, they bring it back to the wizard, and the wizard tells them, "Nope, you know, come back tomorrow, and I will, blah 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 blah." Right? Go away now, right? And
Hmm.
I don't know why he did all this because you find out later when Toto reveals that the wizard was just some man behind a curtain. Don't look at that man behind the curtain, which is another thing that people parody. Like, pay no attention to that man behind the curtain doing all the work. You know, um, when they realized when he got called out on it and everything, he actually helped everybody. He knew how to help everybody. Like you said, he was a fraud, basically. He pretended
Yeah.
to be a wizard. He wasn't really a wizard. So people just believed he was, and he never
Yeah.
told them no. And so they just believed him no matter what. And they never bothered him until like then. Like that was the only time anybody ever really said, "We want to see the wizard,"
Yeah.
and it's weird because if you think about it, because Glinda was the one that sent them down that path, right? To
Yeah.
see the wizard. And
Hmm.
nobody else had ever seen the wizard, not even Glinda, I guess. Maybe. Maybe Glinda had. But like she was the one setting the whole thing up. And once again, very godlike, if you think about it.
Yeah.
She's like the god among everything. She's kind of
Yeah.
she controls all the narrative. So then he goes, he gives a medal to the Cowardly Lion. So Cowardly Lion, now he feels special and feels like he's more powerful than he is, and it just that medal itself just gives him the self-esteem that he needs to be, less of a coward and whatnot, and be more courageous. I think that was kind of sweet.
Yeah.
Um, there was a great line. I think I I posted it on Facebook, and there was a really great line where the guy, was pretty much saying, uh, you don't need certain things. Like he would say that for the wizard would say that for every uh character.
Hmm.
Remember, my sentimental friend, that a heart is not judged by how much you love, but how much you are loved by others. So he's telling that to the Tin Man. He wanted the heart,
Hmm.
and everything. And I thought that was a very sweet line. Like, how
Yeah.
cool was that? Like,
I like
it's
that one.
not how much we know a lot of people who just think that they're all that in a bag of chips.
Yep.
And they don't care if they say they don't care what other people think of them, but they do. They really do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
everything. And this isn't about it's not about how much you love, but how much other people, you know, love you.
Yeah.
And I think that's necessarily true because, you can love as much as you can, but if you don't have love yourself, from others, you're not gonna feel that. You're not gonna feel that heart
I
stuff.
can
So,
see that. Yeah, it's true.
yep. Um, we've okay. One of the lines in the movie. How can you talk if you haven't got a brain? And he goes, I don't know, but some people without brains do an awful lot of talking, don't they?
Oh yeah.
Yes, I guess you're right. So they did
That's so
explain it.
true.
So once again, there's somebody in the comments section going, they explained it. They explained that why you didn't have a brain. I just forgot that line. That was a great line though. I think people
Yeah.
with that don't have a brain do a lot of awful lot of talking.
Yep.
That's true. We know a few.
Oh yeah.
And and that's funny. People can say that nowadays too, about like, politicians or people of, fame, or whatever that they just think
Mhm.
don't seem to have a brain. I don't know. Um, but let's see. So yeah, there's some great lines in this movie. Lions
Yeah.
and tigers and bears. Oh my, and
Oh
that's
yeah.
I even parody that sometimes because I think it's funny.
I
Um,
used to walk around singing that.
Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my.
Yep.
Oh
And I
Lord.
wonder why I got picked on in school.
So then he gives everybody kind of what they want except Dorothy. And she's like, how do I get home to Kansas? She wants to go back
Hmm.
to Kansas. And he's like, well, I'm gonna be leaving here myself on a hot air balloon that he doesn't even seem to know how to drive, fly.
Yeah.
I'm like, isn't that the like equivalent of getting in the car with a drunk driver? You know, like that doesn't sound like a great idea.
No.
Don't get in a hot air balloon with somebody who doesn't know how to freaking drive it, fly it or
Yeah.
whatever, doesn't know how to stop it, doesn't know how to whatever, and is that going to go back, like she's not in the real world anymmer. She's in
Yeah.
Oz. Oz is not the real world. So he's not even going to go back to the real world. He's going to go off somewhere else, I guess. I
Yeah.
don't know. Even though he knows where Kansas is and he's been there or something. So
Yeah.
I guess in that universe, whatever, there's Kansas. I don't know. But
Hmm.
so he says he's going to do that. And then the air balloon goes up because she gets off and forgot why. I think she was grabbing something.
Toto jumps out.
Oh, Toto jumped out. That's right.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. And Toto jumped out. She jumped out to grab Toto, and the thing took off. She can't leave Toto. You know, like that was the whole. It's a whole movie.
I
It's her
know.
having Toto, making sure Toto was okay.
Yeah.
Um.
She
So
loves that dog.
I don't blame him. He's a freaking cute little thing.
He
Um.
was.
Yeah. And so, mm, the wizard flies off and she's sad and Glinda comes to tell her that which the one thing she could have said to save this whole fucking movie, she could have said, just tap your heels again. I mean, she says, I guess you knew this all along or something, which I was like a little confused about, but like she's like, you just tap your toes together and say there's no place like home. I'm like, you couldn't have said that before. Like,
I
did
know.
she really need to go through all this? Which makes her the God thing, like the God-like character, because there was the whole time she came in there and she answered that prayer at the last possible second. But after
Yeah.
she had already helped everybody else get what they needed, and form a friendship together. So
Hmm.
much so that they're all sad that she's leaving, like
Yeah.
they don't want her to go.
Yeah.
It would have been interesting if she stayed. Would that meant that she would have gone into a coma if she stayed?
Possibly.
Like if she eventually somebody would have woke her up or something and then she would have
Yeah.
snapped out of that dream. That would suck.
Return
Like,
to Oz kind of touched down on stuff. It pretty much said that Dorothy was mentally ill. And I mean, to the point where they were trying to give her electroshock. And then she ran
in the
away from the
book,
mental. No, in the Return to Oz, the movie.
uh,
Yeah, they said it was all a hallucination in the second one.
so it
And they
wasn't,
had her locked in a mental institution, and then she broke out, and somehow she had Toto at the mental institution with her.
she can have that
Yeah,
dog everywhere, man. I
yeah,
mean, he's a
exactly.
nice little one. He doesn't do
Yeah.
other than barks at
That
things.
was a support animal before support animals existed.
Exactly. I was watching Jason Takes Manhattan, and there's a cute little dog in
Ah,
that movie that's like named Toby. And oh man.
aw,
And then I was listening to the commentary and the girl in
uh-huh,
it. She was the girl that like had to work with the dog was like
uh-huh,
rewatching it going, "Oh my God, that dog." She was like, he was such a sweet, like trained dog, but
uh-huh.
it took them like hours as opposed to like less time that they would have had if
Oh,
they didn't have the dog. Because, dogs slow production down. That's what
yeah.
they always say is don't work with children or dogs, you know, because you can't control them, you know.
Yeah,
Babies or dogs really, you know.
yeah.
Can't control a baby. A baby's gonna do what a baby's can't train a baby necessarily, I don't think. Um, but anyway,
Maybe with baby treats.
maybe. I don't know. I've never tried.
Like you want a little
My
banana piece?
I don't think my nephew would do that, but my nephew is like one of the like coolest babies you'll ever meet. He's
Oh,
turning 1 soon and he's just like the happiest thing, on this planet. It's just all
that's
like all like this all the time, and I'm just like, you're great.
oh,
You're great. Um,
so cute.
yeah, which gives me like, because at times I'm like, oh man, this kid tires me out. Uh, but he's amazing. But anyway, so they, so she says, "There's no place like home. There's no place like home," and she wakes up from her
Yep.
dream, and she says, "Oh my God, I had the craziest dream. You were there, and you were there, and you were there. Ani M wasn't there. I don't know why. Well, maybe because then she
Hmm.
would have known it was like it was a dream.
But wait, Annie M showed up in the crystal ball at the witch's house or castle or whatever.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, she was looking for Dorothy. Or
No,
wait,
no, no. That was in
no,
the
she
beginning
wasn't
of the
looking for
movie.
Dorothy.
No, that was
Huh?
in the beginning of the movie with
No, it
the.
was it was right before, like she was locked in the room in the chamber
I don't remember
before
that.
Toto escaped.
I don't remember that.
Oh, there's a part where she was in a room that was in the witch's house and there was a giant crystal ball. Yeah.
I don't remember that, but I remember the crystal ball thing,
Yeah.
and then that was right before the sand clock or whatever. But I
Yeah.
don't remember
I thought
Ani
that
M being a part
maybe
of
I'm
that.
getting my movies mixed up.
Maybe, but you're also but you did see Auntie M in a crystal ball
Yeah.
at the Miss with Professor Marvel,
Uh-huh.
because he was like, "There's somebody." Well, actually, you didn't see. You just
No.
heard him say, "There's a woman. She's crying out for whatever." And, oh, that's
Uh-huh.
fine. That's fine. So maybe you're right. Maybe there was a scene in the crystal ball
Uh-huh.
with Auntie M. Maybe the witch
Yeah, she
showed
was
her.
like kidnapped and then like the crystal ball was behind her and she heard Auntie M saying something through it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then the witch's face came popped up or
Yes.
whatever, and she's like,
Uh-huh.
Auntie Em, Auntie Em,
Yeah.
you're not gonna get away. Right?
See,
Blah
I
blah
want to
blah.
do an evil character like that one day. That'd
That'll
be
be
fun.
fun. Yeah.
I
I
should have
mean,
auditioned for Wicked while I was in New York.
oh, that would have been cool.
I never even got to go see it. I was like,
Oh,
man, I can't get off work to go see this play. Or, yeah, it's a Broadway production.
damn.
And I wanted to go see it. Like, one of my roommates always went. Like, every few weeks, she was going to see Wicked again.
Was that one of those kind of plays that like everybody talked about, kind of like
Yeah.
the
And
Book
the
of
book,
Mormon.
everybody was talking about the book, but I never read the book either.
Yeah, neither have I mean, I remember reading The Wizard of Oz. That's about it. I didn't read any
Yeah.
other kind of thing. So yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I forgot that the thing. So she was there, but she was on TM and she was only in the magic ball or whatever, the crystal ball.
Yeah.
So yes, she was like, "You're there, you were there, blah blah blah." Oh my God, there's this crazy dream and stuff like that, and that it just sort of ends that way, like kind of
Hmm.
wondering, I guess what's next for Dorothy. And they never did like a
Yeah.
sequel until Return of Oz or whatever, but it wasn't like
Yeah.
sequel with Judy Garland or anything, you know.
Yeah, that it took place. I mean, it like they did the sequel long time after. Because
Right.
Fairuza Balk was like 10 or 11 at the time, I think. I'm not sure.
I'm wondering why they didn't because the budget for this movie was 2,777,000. Opening weekend it made 5 million, and then gross was 25 million. So it made
Wow.
like $23 million more than its, thing. So the idea is if you get the double the budget, right, of
Hmm.
your thing, you're a hit,
Nice.
right? So that was way more than it. And
Yeah.
so I'm surprised that they didn't like do a sequel, or whatever
Yeah.
right after. But this movie was so plagued with so many problems. You were saying before, like there was lead in the Tin Man, and there was all these
Hmm.
problems that happened throughout the whole thing. They went through like so many directors and so many writers, and I mean it just there was so many issues that I think MGM was just happy it got finished and it got out and it made its money and made more
Hmm.
than its money or whatever so that they could do other movies. And they
Yeah.
had no interest in doing it again, you know? Like they didn't want to, they're like, let's not go through that again, you know?
Yeah.
Until Return to Oz, which I don't even know if that was produced by the same distribution company and all that stuff. I don't know. Because
I
once
don't
again, I
know.
think it might have been a public domain thing, so they could have done
Mhm.
anybody could have done it.
Dude,
Um,
that one was really disturbing.
you said it was like they have it the Fairuza
There were
Balk in
these
a
guys on, yeah, they had her trying to give
insane
her
asylum.
electroshock in
Yeah,
the insane asylum. And there are these guys that walk, that like skate on their hands and feet. And I'm
yeah.
like, nope. Those things started going after the people really fast. And I'm like, oh no, I dropped dead right there. So, like, I don't remember the flying monkeys, but they may have been in there too. You
I,
know, in The Wizard of Oz, I was mad at the flying monkeys. At first, I was like, "Oh, they're all cute little monkeys that fly," until they ripped the scarecrow's stuffing out. Then I was like, "I do not like the monkeys anymore."
yeah, they're not as cute when they're like
No,
trying to attack.
disruptive.
Yeah, they're pretty nasty little things, little
Yes.
buggers. You know, I would have. This sounds terrible, but I would have loved to see the monkeys at the Munchkin Land, like picking up the little munchkins. And they're just like, ah, because I bet that stuff like that was happening before,
Yeah.
you know,
No, no,
leave me alone, get off of me. Um,
no.
yeah. So, who did distribute this movie? I wonder. Did Warner Brothers distribute it or um uh does it say? Ah, it does not say right
Really?
here. Like, yeah, well, I mean, on IMDb, I don't know. I have to look it up
Ah,
on Wikipedia. Wikipedia tells me everything.
nice.
Yeah, which is what I need because I don't, and it was a book. It was the book. There was an actual book
Mhm.
called Road to Oz. So I wonder
Oh,
if that has a so is this the movie or the book? It's the book. Where's the movie? I want the movie. Um, because that's more interesting to me is to see kind of where the movie it was originally called Rainbow Road to what?
hmm.
No, it's not the same thing. Oh, Rainbow Road to Oz was a proposed but never finished Walt Disney Studios 1950s live action film about the characters of the Land of Oz.
Ah,
That would have been interesting. I don't want that one though.
yeah.
Road to Oz movie. I think that's what it was called, Road to Oz, right?
I think.
Um, Return to Oz.
Oh, the one, yeah, Return to Oz.
Yeah, Return to Oz. So, sorry, getting them mixed up right now. Uh, yeah, oh man, that had a $28 million budget and the
Hmm.
box office was only 11 million. So it bombed.
Ooh,
Um,
yeah, they were probably watching it back then. Like, what on earth did they just put on the screen?
wait, yep, this is the one for Balk and Piper Laurie and everyone. Yeah, Disney produced it.
Wow, that was pretty
Yeah.
dark for Disney.
Well, this is 1985. It was
Hmm.
their yeah, it was their dark time.
Hmm.
So a lot of people talk about it like the Black Cauldron came out around then, and this was like
Yeah.
their time, like their dark period where they were doing just a bunch of dark stuff, Fantasia,
Hmm.
all this stuff that
Love
would not
Fantasia.
get made right now,
Yeah.
stuff. Um, I still want them to remake stuff like uh mm, I can't even think of the titles. There were some really dark stories that they did, like the dark movies and stuff that
Hmm.
I mean they did Witch Mountain, but that was like a um new one with The Rock, which is cool.
Hmm.
I liked it. I actually really liked it.
I
Andy
didn't get to see
Fickman,
it all the way through.
Andy Fickman, who directed it, I thought did a great job. I thought it was
Nice.
fun. I thought it was cute. It was
Mhm.
enjoyable. I don't think it did very well because like you would have thought that they would have like greenlit a sequel like right after.
Yeah.
But it was fun. I liked it. But Return to Oz, yeah, did that badly. Yeah, so Walt Disney produced it. That's
Hmm.
weird. Um, it's funny. It says The Marvelous Land of Oz and Ozma of Oz are the two books it's based on. So,
Ah.
um, and not, I have not read much of this. So it says Walter Murch began development on Return to Oz in 1980 during a brainstorming session with Walt Disney Productions production chief Tom Willett. Um, Murch told Willett he was interested in making a Oz film, and Willett sort of straightened up in his chair. Unbeknownst to Murch, Disney owned the rights to the Oz series and wanted to make a new film as the copyright was soon to expire. In September 1981, Disney president Ron W. Miller announced that the studio will be making the film not as a sequel or continuation of the 1939 movie, but an entirely new story with a different look to the original film. So cool. There's more to
Nice.
it. I want to eventually watch that. I don't think I ever did. Uh,
Hmm.
I don't know. I think The Wizard of Oz itself has such a thing for me, like in me that I just don't really I'm scared to watch anything else, because it'll just
Yeah.
ruin my love for it in a way.
Did you ever watch The Wizard of Oz to the what was that song? It was
It's like a
the
Pink Floyd song
dark
or something.
yeah, The Dark Side of the Moon.
I have not. I've
Okay,
heard,
that was it was trippy.
yeah, because
Yeah,
it
it was
really
really
worked with that, right? With the
it
movie.
really did, yeah.
The whole album?
Yeah, you listen to the whole album throughout the movie.
Maybe one day I'll do that because that sounds like
Yeah,
fun.
it's
Sounds really,
fun.
yeah.
Yeah, I did that
Um,
a long time ago with some friends in the dorms, and they're like, "Hey, let's do this." It's like, okay, but it was really cool.
well, it's interesting. So, the director of The Wizard of Oz,
Hmm.
was what's his name? Victor Fleming. Victor Fleming also was one of the directors of Gone with the Wind. Um,
Ah,
he was like I guess the main director for that.
hmm.
So funny that he directed two movies in 1939 that are like two of the biggest hits, you know. And what else has he done? Because I know he's done those two. He did Captain's Courageous. Um, what is this? There's a comedy fantasy, The Looney Wizard of Oz. It's got Looney
Hmm.
Tunes as the Wizard of Oz. And
Oh,
it says it
that's
was directed
awesome.
by him. What?
That's awesome.
I would love to see that.
I know.
I don't know if it was directed by him because I think didn't he die before that came out? Yeah, he died in 1949. So I don't know why
Hmm.
they put his name on there in 1987 as director. I guess because he directed the first movie, so maybe
Yeah.
if they copied it exactly but just used Looney Tunes characters, like Bugs as Dorothy or something, that just sounds awesome. Like um it doesn't have anybody listed as names. I don't know what
Hmm.
this is because it says the only actors that are listed are Munchkins.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, as voices, right? So that's
Huh.
strange. Um, he also did Joan of Arc, which I kind of want to see. It's
Hmm.
Ingrid Bergman. It's her Joan of Arc, and I've heard of it. I just have never seen it.
Hmm.
He directed Jekyll and Hyde. Um, A Star is Born. He was uncredited for that one, so I guess he took over for somebody or tried,
Hmm.
or whatever. Um, I've heard he was okay, so I've heard some stories, and I'm not sure what to like. Um, I've heard like he used to like shoot cats. Yeah,
That's horrible.
maybe that's why your maybe that's why your cat was going crazy over that thing.
Maybe.
I don't know if that's true or not. Um, I just that's what I heard and um from somebody, and so like I'd have to look that up. So I'm
Hmm.
not trying to spread rumors. I'm just
Yeah.
explaining that that's what I heard. Uh, okay. Actress Anne Revere said that Fleming was violently pro-Nazi. Pro-Nazi. That sounds great. And strongly opposed to the United States joining World War II. He was certainly an outspoken anti-Semite, even concerning David Selznick, the producer of his most famous movie, which is Gone with the Wind.
Mm.
Yeah, which that was about the Civil War and stuff, right? Or something like
Mhm.
that. Like yeah, that seems really strange that he would be be directing things like that he probably did not like himself.
Yeah.
I mean, it's work. I mean, but director Henry Hathaway, a former Fleming assistant director, said of his old boss, there was more of Fleming in Clark Gable than there was Gable in Gable. I think that Gable really mimicked Victor Fleming and became that kind of man on screen. So I guess,
Hmm.
you know, did not live to see The Wizard of Oz, which he directed, become a sensation on television, an all-time classic through its annual telecast. So it became more famous, I guess, from uh, um, in the video time. Um,
Hmm.
when making Gone with Wind, he wanted Scarlett for at least once in the film to look like his hunting buddy Clark Gable's type of woman. So when he really had a thing for Gable. Um, so when wearing the stunning low-cut burgundy velvet dress with rhinestones that Scarlett wears to Ashley Wilkes' birthday party, the second half of the film to achieve the desired cleavage for Fleming, Walter Plunkett had to tape Vivian Lee's breasts together. Jeez. the things they did back then that they would not do now. Like,
Yeah.
uh,
See, I remember in show choir, there was one girl that she was so top heavy, she couldn't wear a strapless bra. So she would ask us to tape her together before the show. And she was using duct tape.
ew,
Yeah. She
what?
came up to me, she handed me a roll of duct tape. She's like, wrap me. And I'm like,
That
are you
hurts.
serious? I know. She was in there just like, it's tearing my skin off. I'm like, girl, they make stuff for that.
I know. It's
Yeah, she
disgusting.
just, I mean, we wrapped completely around her body. I'm like, you're not going to be able to breathe.
That's terrible.
Yeah, but she looked like she wanted to cry while she was peeling it off. I'm like, girl,
For sure.
yeah,
Well, there you go.
yeah.
A very nice image to think of when we're closing this movie up. There was yeah. So anyway, there's a lot more that's said on the online and everything on YouTube. If you ever go to
Yeah.
YouTube, there's a lot of talks about Wizard of Oz. There's that stuff about the hanging munchkin, which we looked into, and turns
It
out
was
that that was
debunked.
a bird, you know,
Yeah,
and everything. And then people do fake videos to make it look like there was actually a hanging,
yeah.
something hanging. So it's all fake, but there's so much, rumors and things about this movie, stories about this film. Um,
Hmm.
there's some great videos that go really into the actual stuff. We're not here to just give you like the actual like history of it or whatever, because you can watch it on those, or you can check it out on Wikipedia, and you can do your own research on that. Ugh, sorry. Um, we were here to give you guys just our input on what we thought of the movie and why I chose this as a Film Freaks movie, as opposed to what Paul would choose. Paul would definitely not choose this film. This is not his kind of flick. But
Yeah,
that's fine.
I loved it. It was fun.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of ones that we do that he's just not gonna, be into. Um,
Oh,
yeah, that happens.
yeah.
Um, I love it. I love it because it was a part of my childhood. It was a big part of my life growing
Hmm.
up. My parents would always have it on and stuff. It was on television all the time. And
Yeah,
so you just turn on, that was back in the day before streaming became a big thing. That's the thing I hate about streaming now, is it's going to take away that childhood feeling that you get,
yeah.
because
The
now
feeling
it's,
of you have like 5 minutes to run and grab snacks and stuff during
well, I guess you
commercial
can do
break.
that on Tubi.
True, TV does do the commercials, and Freebie does it too.
And Plex does it too, I believe. So,
Yeah, they do.
so you can watch those on those. But yeah, honestly, interestingly enough, I have Paramount Plus, but I don't pay for the non-commercial Paramount Plus. So there
Hmm.
are commercials on television shows and stuff on that. And I was like watching that going, oh yeah, I didn't pay the extra like $6 or whatever it is for for no commercials. I actually like
Yeah.
sometimes having the commercials sometimes, unless it's like, YouTube nowadays. Sorry, YouTube, we're on you. It's but YouTube likes to do like a million commercials now, and they're driving me nuts. And now um on my TV, it looks like every other thing where it's got like the little 20 to 20 seconds, 19 second, 8.
Hmm.
It's starting to piss me off and look like every other streaming site. And I think they're trying to get people to want to do like YouTube, pay for YouTube and stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm not paying for it because I just don't like.
Yeah, same here.
Most of the time you can just skip the commercials. So, and it
Yeah,
doesn't bother
true.
me. Doesn't bother me, but wait until they make them unskippable and drive people crazy to try to. Then a lot of people might actually stop watching YouTube.
Very true.
Just
Then they're
like,
gonna bring it back free.
yeah, just like they're gonna probably try to do that with X, the Twitter.
Yeah.
They're gonna try to make you pay for Twitter. And once that happens, so many people are going to leave that thing that
Oh yeah.
you're gone. So,
Yeah.
well, thank you, Anna. This was fun. I
Yes,
enjoyed
it was.
this.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah. I'm glad we finally got to discuss it. I
Yes.
think this really did. I think this would have been different had we done this on that day. So I think this
Yeah.
was perfect that we had some time to relax and talk about it and
Yeah.
discuss it. Everybody else, go check out The Wizard of Oz on Max. It looks really good in 4K. I'm just gonna say.
Mhm.
I used to have the 4K of it, and I
Hmm.
don't know where it went. I don't know if a
Oh.
friend of mine borrowed it or if it just
Huh.
disappeared, whatever, but it's gone. So I have to
Oh
buy another
wow.
one. It keeps happening with my random on my things. I don't know if my family's borrowing it too, like one of my sisters is borrowing it or something, and they're just not telling
Mhm.
me, and then it's just
Hmm.
disappearing. That's why I'm so glad they're in my room because I'm just like nobody goes in my room.
Oh,
So
nice.
hopefully it won't bother me. But like I don't like if you borrow something, let me know at least so I know where it is, unless
Yeah.
they're trying to steal it, you know. Um, but no, I don't
I've
know
had
where
roommates do that.
it's so wrong.
Yep.
But so yeah, so I absolutely adore this movie. I'll definitely buy it on 4K again because it
Nice.
deserves that, treatment, you know.
Yeah.
And I will, yeah, and it's one of my favorites. Like it is a childhood favorite of mine. Um,
Yeah. Same here.
so there you go. That's why we reviewed it, together. So everybody, go check it out. If you haven't seen it, we just spoiled the hell out of it. So, but go watch it anyway, because you won't believe the Lollipop Guild until you watch it.
Oh
And
yeah.
can I like these are the kind of things that I would love to show little kids, when they start
Hmm.
growing up so that they have the same, feelings. Now, I won't show my nephew, um, and only because he has this like he has this like little I don't know if it's a chicken or a duck or something, but it's this
Hmm.
little thing that just moves around.
Hmm.
And before he loved it and would chase after it, now it scares him.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, so when it starts moving around, he starts going, "Ah," and I'm like,
Oh.
why are you
Huh.
afraid of it? And I don't know. Just something one day maybe he won't be, but he's not
Yeah.
afraid of it if it doesn't move. He likes it,
Oh.
plays with it. He like whatever, but if it's moving, he doesn't
Hmm.
like it. And he's like, why is that doing that? I don't know.
Oh.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, well, if that scares him, the monkeys will terrify the hell out of him.
Oh my goodness. Could you see him at the zoo?
Flying monkeys, they would they just leave.
No, I mean, could you see your nephew at the zoo?
Um, maybe, maybe I don't know. Maybe not a petting zoo where they're
Yeah.
running around and be like, it's not,
Don't go to Taiwan or Tibet. None of those.
or no Vietnam or
Oh
whatever.
yeah.
Sure, there's a lot of them out there too. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Join us next month where it'll be Paul's movie. I have no idea what Paul will show me, and
Ah,
I'm always worried, and then it turns out to be a great movie.
nice.
He doesn't have bad taste.
Nice.
I will say that. He may not like this movie, but and that's a different kind of thing. First of all, it's a musical, and B, it's very fluffy and
Yeah.
Hollywood and all that stuff, which he doesn't dig.
Hmm.
But also, I would tell you guys go look up the how like the history of MGM. It is very interesting. I'll probably tell Anna after this about it, but it's very interesting. Very like I looked into it and was like, whoa, that was
Ah.
just crazy how MGM became MGM. So, but anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this and join me and Paul next month. Until then, everybody, bye.
Bye bye.